Mindfulness doesn't sound sexy or mysterious like shadow work or soulmates, but it's by far one of the most important practices you could ever do. If you practice mindfulness diligently, it will not only help you to be more productive, strip you from any overthinking, and make you calmer, it will also destroy depression, anxiety, trauma, OCD, ADHD, BPD, and any old patterns that are not helpful to you. To so many people, this will seem like bold statements, but that's only because practicing mindfulness and focus when you have ADHD or any of those conditions is challenging, and rather than doing any work and recover over months, people rather pop some pills or waste their time with talk therapy, which might give them a condition of relief. But that's exactly the problem. Trying to get relief, trying to chase comfortable emotions, instead of building the space for yourself to be able to handle any emotions and thoughts. You being a slave to emotions and thoughts, that's the problem, and mindfulness will cut through those patterns. To people who never really shifted to the art of living mindfully, these may seem like bold statements, but I will show you why all of what I say is completely true and matter of fact, even an understatement. Mindfulness shouldn't be just a practice, it should be a way of doing everything. But what is mindfulness? I rarely see someone explain it in a way that gives people a clear understanding. Mindfulness means doing the thing that you're doing in every moment well. It means when you're walking, walk well, which doesn't mean walking at the same time spend time in your head talking back to the voice in your head, trying to figure out why your coworker or boss is so disrespectful. It means driving well, which doesn't mean drive and listen to a podcast to satisfy the never-ending quest to find the one secret that makes you amazing and successful, which gives you the false sense of doing something productive, or sitting on the restroom, just sitting on the restroom without scrolling on TikTok. At the same time, mindfulness is an undoing. It's not doing the extra work that you're doing in your head of talking back to the voice, asking if we live in a simulation, or trying to control if another person likes you, or trying to control if your partner leaves you or cheats. This addictive thinking is so enticing to you because it is exactly that, an addiction. And it comes from you trying to be safe and trying to control. But in reality, the chase for control and safety will cause more problems. Because looking for the safety in ACT therapy is called a compulsion. A compulsion is the opposite of mindfulness. Rather than enjoying the moment and doing what you're doing well, you are trying to control feelings or thoughts with actions. When boredom comes up, you're grabbing the phone to make a feeling feel better. When you've been hurt, you call someone to vent to make a feeling feel better. When you feel anxiety, you overeat or scroll on TikTok or take drugs to make a feeling feel better. This seems so normal in society, but that is exactly the reason why society is so insane. Mindfulness is breaking those patterns because the patterns are trying to seduce you and pull you in, but you're okay with the uncomfortable feeling of not reacting to them and bring your brain back to the present moment. It's like when you play a video game where you're racing a car and a character is trying to pull you off the road, but you keep pressing X to stay on track. That's like mindfulness. You keep coming back to the moment. When you're running, for example, and the brain says, oh, let's think about the job or think about your coworkers. You can talk out loud to your brain and say, no, brain, we're running right now. It will need some strength and focus, but over time, the character loses the grip and lets go. This is the brain who lets go of giving you the old traumatic patterns. When it gives you jealousy and you're trying to stalk on Instagram to see if your boyfriend is cheating on you, that's exactly the compulsion where you're a slave to the brain. Remember, my brain will give me those thoughts because it knows I used to react to them. And if I react to my brain, it has my attention and it can protect me. But now it's on me to show my brain that it's okay. We don't need to spend time debating about those things anymore. We are not the child anymore that got bullied or treated unfairly. My brain might say we need to control this relationship or work situations, and I say, no brain, we're running right now. Believe me, the brain will try time and time again with all of the tricks up its sleeve to suck you into doing compulsions. But your work is to press X and practice bringing yourself back to the present moment. This is a practice, and in the beginning it's going to be challenging because you trained yourself to be a slave to the brain. But over time you will train your brain to be with you. The reason why many people start and never continue and see the amazing benefits of mindfulness, including the recovery of ADHD, is because like people who go to the gym, They don't want to be with uncomfortable emotions and they stop. But understand that by being okay with the uncomfortable emotions and not reacting to them, but instead doing an action and support your life that support you, showing your brain that you don't care anymore about the old pattern. And over time, because your brain is a very energy efficient organ, it has no need to give you the old patterns anymore. And you will be more productive and calm because you just do one thing at a time and don't do 1,000 conversations of should I do this or should I do that in your head. Many people ask me, but how do I practice mindfulness? And most of the time it's their brain trying to do things perfect and right again, which is another compulsion to control the outcome because you don't want to do things wrong. Or is it your brain that doesn't want to do things wrong? It will give you any thoughts or emotions to not start practicing mindfulness because it's scared from the uncertainty. It is so used to control everything in your mind. And then it will tell you, you don't even know how to practice mindfulness yet. Look up another YouTube videos and it will make you procrastinate. But that's like saying you don't know how to play soccer yet before you even have started playing soccer. If Cristiano Ronaldo would have said, I can only start playing soccer once I read everything about soccer, and I can only start practicing free kicks when I study the perfect free kick with all the coaches without ever doing a free kick, he wouldn't have become the soccer player he is today. The same way as getting better with soccer as you're playing, you will get better with mindfulness when you practice mindfulness. To be honest, mindfulness is just about doing well what you're doing in the moment. When you walk, you walk. When you drive, you drive. When you're on the restroom, you're on the restroom and not on the phone. But most people, even who watch this video right now, will not start even practicing because the brain wants to avoid the terrifying state of being in the present moment and not having the ability to control things. The brain is telling you to learn more about mindfulness or watch another YouTube video about it or tell you to start tomorrow after you watch some more YouTubes and TikTok videos. Anything to keep you from actually doing and practicing mindfulness. But the really important part is you actually setting actions that you want to grow and mindfully doing them. That's how you show the brain what you really care about, because the language of the brain is behavior. It's like soccer or any sport. You can read all the books and watch all the videos about it, but unless you go on the court and play and fall and stand up and find your balance, you will not be a good player. You get better at mindfulness by practicing mindfulness well. So what is it going to be? You scrolling another TikTok, or go out there and spend your time on something that will benefit your life with any emotions and thoughts? The brain wants you to keep scrolling, but are you a slave to the brain, which causes more ADHD? Or will you build mental focus and emotional fitness by going out there and building your business, building physical fitness, building relaxation, building relationships, and building fun with actions? Let me know in the comments what you decided to do. Oh yeah, I promise we're going to talk about ADHD. Well, all the symptoms that anybody who has ADHD has are symptoms of being a slave to the brain, being unable to sit still. What does it even mean to be unable to sit still? No one is grabbing the person from sitting still. No one's pushing them. There's no octopus taking tentacles and pulling them away from sitting still. Oh, it's just about thoughts and emotions that people react to because they don't want to be uncomfortable and feel those thoughts and emotions, so they start fidgeting. Fidgeting is also a common symptom of ADHD. Unable to concentrate on tasks. Let me show you how that is a practice skill, to not be able to concentrate on tasks. Let's say I work with a kid because their parents tell me it has ADHD. I will tell the child, hey, let's go, let's do a painting project. And we're gonna do it for an hour. If the child after 10 minutes says, Mom, Dad, I'm bored, can I have the iPad? In that moment, the child becomes a slave to the brain and practice the skill of distraction. Because your brain acts on behaviors now and learns to give you more boredom and uneasiness for you to grab the iPad to get relief, and this will become an addiction over time. But if the child would be okay with the boredom and focus mindfully back on painting, it will practice the skill of focus and emotional fitness, which will show the brain what the child really cares about, which is expressing itself painting. Interrupting conversation, being unable to remember things. All symptoms of ADHD. How would you be able to remember things if you constantly spend time reacting to thoughts and urges and practicing skills of distractions in your head? Can you see how all the symptoms of ADHD are symptoms of someone who's a slave to the brain? With mindfulness, you teach yourself to be the boss of the brain because you're showing your brain that no matter what emotions and thoughts come up, you choose to focus on something that you value. This Over time, we'll build emotional fitness, which means you become stronger with emotions and you build the ability to do the things that you value. Over time, you will become calmer, more productive, and being able to focus on your projects for a long time. But people will say it doesn't work. The same way people say they cannot lose weight because they don't even stay persistent with it. But in addition, mental fitness is not as commonly known as physical fitness. So many people also don't know about these tools that I give you right now. But I can only give you the gifts. You have to use them. I cannot unwrap them for you. And this is why so many people will say that you cannot change ADHD because they don't want to do the work, and they will say it's an ADHD brain and it's genetic. But every single person that I worked with who diligently practiced these tools changed their brain. I changed my brain. So I say that the people who say you cannot recover from these things are the ones who are the problem. You are the ones who are pulling the people down and discouraging them from making progress. The biggest problem in the mental health industry is that people make mental health about fixing things instead of about building skills. So now you can go back to scrolling and build the skill of distraction, or you can grow things that you value. It's up to you. Let me know what you did in the comments.